Hello everyone, welcome to another Toon Boom Harmony tutorial. My name is Frank Summers and today we're going to be talking about basic parenting, the basic parenting system that is inside of Toon Boom Harmony. For me, way back a couple years ago when I first switched from Flash, this was the big aha moment for me. This is when I realized that Toon Boom offered a very flexible and robust system that was more akin to After Effects. And it was when I really started to kind of wrap my head around the software and everything it had to offer. So first, I'd like to just quickly explain the difference between the 3 editions for Harmony 12. There's Essentials, Advanced, and Premium. In Essentials and Advanced, everything you do kind of exists down here in the timeline, whereas in Premium, which is what I'm using now, we have the node view, which offers more complex parenting. So the first thing I'll do is I'll just hang out down here in the timeline view, and we'll just work down there. First thing I'll do is I'm going to just show a very simple arm, how to create a basic arm. So I'm going to create a few layers. We have an upper arm, add. We have lower arm, add, and we'll make a hand. And we'll hit add and close. So now we have our layers. I'm going to just pick a brush, nothing crazy. That looks fine. Yeah, black is fine. And okay, so for the upper arm, I'm going to use basic things just so you guys can see it clearly. I'm not going to get hung up in the drawing in these. I'll go to click my lower arm, and if you look here in the camera view where my mouse is, there's the light table. It looks like a little light bulb. You click that guy and it washes out everything except for the layer that you are currently working on. So let's just draw a little circle to give me an idea of where my overlap will be, and I don't like that. We'll draw a forearm. Okay, and we'll draw a very simple little basic hand, just like a thumb and a little mitten type hand. And then what I'll do is I'll fix my pivots over here using my pivot point, put them in a place that makes sense. So for the hand, I'll put it in the wrist. For the lower arm, put it right in the middle of that little circle. And then for the shoulder, for the upper arm, obviously, like the shoulder. And then what we'll do is we'll color code our stuff just to keep our good practices in shape. Red. Let's make it red. No, let's not make it red, because I want you guys to be able to see keyframes clearly. So let's make it blue. So the next thing we do is to simply parent things is very easy to do. You click your layer that you want to parent or create a child of and drag it onto whatever you want to follow around. So in this case, I have a hand. I want it to follow around the lower arm. So click it, drag it on top, and then let go of the lower arm. You'll see that it will indent, and that means that they are now connected to each other. So if I was to, say, select using my transform tool, the forearm or the lower arm, the hand follows with it. Do it again. So right now everything is all separate. Nothing is kind of like connected to each other. Undo all of that. And I'll do it again. Grab my hand, drag and drop. Right on top of the lower arm, and there we go. My hand follows around wherever the forearm goes. Take the lower arm, drag and drop on top of the upper arm, and now that is connected. So if I grab the upper arm, everything goes around and follows the way it should, creating our little hierarchy. A quick keyboard shortcut I can introduce you, something that's actually very handy, is B and Shift B, and then we use that to go up and down our hierarchy. So if I selected the top hierarchy, the upper arm, I could hit Shift B to go down. I could hit Shift B again to go down again. Let me hide that color card. That might help a little bit. If I click my hand, the lower part of my hierarchy, and I want to go up, I hit B. It grabs the forearm. I hit B again. It grabs the whole arm. And that way we can quickly work our way through our hierarchy. Let's extend my exposure all the way through, and I'm just going to do a simple animation. It's good practice to keep everything collapsed, because if I drop my keyframe down using F6, very similar to Flash, and if I expand everything, you'll see the keyframe has dropped down underneath the entire list. Keeps everything all nice and neat. Make sure our animate button is turned on. Everything turns yellow. And then we'll step forward in time. I don't know, around here, frame 11, drop a keyframe down, and we'll just move these parts around. And there we have some animation going on. And we'll just add a little settle. How about that? Something really simple. Something really basic. There we are. And there we have it. It's as simple as that. Easily go in here and add a little bit of overlap, or a little bit of drag, I should say, on the hand. If I collapse all of my keyframes, I can simply take them and just stagger them a little bit. I'll take the hand and stagger it a little bit. There we are, a little bit of free overlap just by grabbing the keyframes and staggering them a little bit, pushing them down in time a little bit. I could really exaggerate this, scaling it and skewing the hand, so now we really have some drag on that hand. Exaggerate the overlap a little more. So as you can see, my point is that this is very flexible. I can go in here at any point in time. It kind of calls back to the drawings versus keyframes tutorial I did last time, whereas all of this stuff is all separate. All these elements are separate. They all can be manipulated without affecting the other, which is great. Gives us a lot of flexibility to do things. And it's very easy to take things apart in the timeline, just dragging them and dropping them off of each other. And there I'm now breaking the hierarchy. And if I was to hit play, it blows up. Oh my God. But what I'd like to do now is just show you the node view. Let me make that bigger so you guys can see it. Again, this is only in Harmony Premium. This is part of the premium package. And you can just create so much more complex connections. But I'd like to introduce it to you anyway for right now. So if you're using Essentials in advance, just hang with me. Maybe you'll get something out of this. Well, these are all before. I think I talked about before in one of my previous tutorials that each of these nodes is actually is just a layer. That's all it is, just a layer. And I'm going to do another tutorial in the future about the node view. So I'm not going to get too technical here. But in order to create your parenting hierarchies, let's just first assemble them in a way that makes sense. We have our hand, and we have our lower arm and our upper arm. And it's just a matter of grabbing a cable, pulling it down, and attaching it. Grabbing a cable, pulling it down, and attaching it. And that is how we create our hierarchy. And if I look over here into let me turn my light table off. And there we go. My animation is playing correctly. If I were to, let's just say, unplug the hand, grabbing it and pulling it off, the hand suddenly falls off, right? However, if I just go and pull that pipe back down again, ta-da, our hand is back. Show you in mid-animation. It's as simple as that. I often find I do that sometimes by accident. All of a sudden, the hand will fall off, and I'm like, "Hey, what happened?" It's because I just made a mistake. It's generally because I touched a pipe in here by accident, and I pulled it off by accident. So now that we have a basic hierarchy going on here, it's actually pretty simple to go and add stuff on to what we already have, existing animation. I already have this arm moving. So if I wanted to, I can go in here. I can add a new layer by clicking, and I'm going to make a bracelet. Bracelet, add and close. I'm going to pick a different color, red. And let's just draw a little rectangle. That's our bracelet. Fill it, and I'm going to use my pivot, fix my pivot, and make sure, of course, I expose it for the entire length of the shot. And as you can see, the bracelet it's not there. It's being left behind. That's because it is not parented. So it's just a matter of taking the bracelet. I think what makes sense in this case is if the bracelet is following the forearm around, right? Makes sense. Grab the bracelet, drag and drop it on top of the forearm. And there we are. Our bracelet follows along. If you go up into the hierarchy, you can push it in Z. And now the bracelet follows it along. And then we can easily put some keyframes in there. And because it's independent, we can add some drag to it, a little bit of overlap, and a little bit of a settle, maybe even a little jiggle. And then whoop, there we are, just like that. So that'll about wrap it up, I think, for parenting. If you have any questions about it, please leave them in the comment section below. I can address any of your issues you may have had, or anything I may have missed in this tutorial. Next week, I'd like to talk about the node view, like I said earlier on. Really would like to dive in here and try and get into what everything is all in here. I know it's very confusing and first it's like intimidating. I remember it intimidated me very much, but now I'm so used to looking at it, I don't even think twice about it. So if you like what you saw here, please subscribe me. I'm going to come back with another one, hopefully every week. That's my plan anyway. And yeah, that's about it. Until then, take care.